On 9th April 2014, Global Rights Alert, Publish What You Pay Uganda, in partnership with Publish What You Pay Norway, organized a seminar at Makerere University under the theme, Towards a Transparent and Accountable Natural Resource Regime in Africa, Awakening Citizens' Participation.
We are emphasizing the Awakening Citizen Participation part. The discovery of natural resource wealth on the African continent is increasing day by day. I think we are hearing Kenya announcing lots of gas deposits. We are hearing Uganda. Of course, the exploration is still going on, and we expect that the volumes will increase. We know that in Ghana, the production is started, and they discovered oil around the same time we did. We know that in Liberia, the exploitation of minerals is on. The same with Mozambique, and of course we cannot talk about South Sudan. So this discovery is always met with excitement from the populations, and because this excitement to us is a promise that the country is moving towards a development stage. So I challenge us to think as citizens of the countries that we represent here. I challenge us to think as Ugandans, how much do we attach oil to what is going on in terms of governance, in terms of improvement in social service delivery. Do we feel that we own these resources and therefore we must direct how these resources are exploited, how they are governed, and how the funds from these resources are utilized? Or have we left that to someone else to do for us? This is the theme of today's discussion, and I hope that we can honestly speak about how citizens are engaging in the management of natural resource discovery.
The event was well attended by over 100 participants from different countries in Africa, including Liberia, Ghana, South Sudan, Mozambique, Tanzania, and Uganda. The seminar attracted speakers on the management of natural resources in developing countries, which could become a driver of sustainable economic growth on the continent.
Africa today is the focus of exploration search for oil and gas or hydrocarbons and other minerals. The minerals and oil and gas resources, if discovered, bring a lot of money. In a short run, they don't stay long, they are finite. By the time they are productive, there is a lot of money. And that money, if properly managed, can really cause turnaround the country and cause economic growth generally for everybody. But where we have noticed they have been poorly managed, then they bring what you call the resource curse or the paradox of plenty.
Presenters noted that current trends in most African countries testify to the importance of natural resources due to increased exploration and exploitation activities on the continent. In the Great Lakes region, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi have intensified their exploration for oil, gas, and minerals, and substantial discoveries have been made. They also noted that countries like South Sudan, Ghana, Mozambique, Liberia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, and South Africa have exploited their natural resources for years now, with varying benefits and challenges.
In Mozambique, our constitution states that natural resources belongs to the Mozambican state, and therefore natural resources belongs to the citizens of Mozambique. Therefore, citizens have the right to demand good governance in the context of participatory governance of natural resources.
What does it mean for a resource-rich country to be in war? First of all, looking at this violent war, the violent conflict in South Sudan, which has now taken over 3 months, there are a lot of implications that has led to this war. First of all, this war has led to major displacement within the country. And I can say over 1 million people were displaced by this war. The other implications has impacted the exploitation of oil resources. South Sudan is heavily dependent on the oil resources. Some part of states like Unity has stopped production of oil, and some other areas like Maluk County is being threatened by rebel. And the level of oil production has been scaled down.
Speakers dealt with issues of transparency and accountability, with the aim of spurring citizens to participate by engaging multinational companies, governments, community members, and civil society groups to improve natural resource governance in their countries. These are the key highlights from the main speakers.
You, the civil society, can act as such a mechanism. Acting as sounding posts for local communities, you are important in bringing issues of contention, as well as concerns for social, environmental, and financial impact to the surface. You, the civil society, can bring the people's voice to the attention of the political decision makers, and when you are heard, you can change the management of natural resources to the better. Discussions based on facts rather than assumptions are always more fruitful.
The extractive industry has been under increasing criticism for corruption, tax evasion, and for shifting profits, where from countries where the upstream operations are taking place and to other parts of a company's corporate structure. Today, a number of states has made it their business to offer legal arrangements which are tailor-made for undermining legal relations and tax obligations in other states. We refer to them as tax havens or secrecy jurisdictions. An international question which is emerging now and being discussed is if tax has become a voluntary thing for the multinational companies. Multinational companies can today, with the assistance of professional tax advisors with deep knowledge on the distinction between different countries' tax systems, pursue quite advanced and aggressive tax planning across national border. Avoiding tax has in many ways become a global industry. So what is the destination of those money? Where did the money end up? For Africa, it means that illicit capital flows out of African countries, flow into bank accounts in financial centers across the EU. In 2011, it's estimated that 43.7 billion euros left Africa by way of illicit financial flows.
In fact, in Uganda here, several years ago, especially before we went into the multi-party dispensation, we had the situation actually whereby, the media, was providing pretty much the only countervailing force to the government, in a sense that to the extent that there was never an effective opposition, the media was almost, acting as the de facto opposition. If you look at the quality of the information that you get through the media, if you consider the quality of the commentary that comes through the media, a lot of that certainly depends, on the quality of the democratic culture. So, and I think as Professor Ikoko was saying, I think to the extent that you have an oppressive democratic culture, an oppressive political culture, you certainly cannot expect to have a robust commentary coming through the media. And so one of the things that I have learned all through the couple of years that I've been working with journalists across these countries is that the quality of policy making and the quality of decision making that you can expect in any country depends fundamentally on the quality of the politics, the quality of democracy. And so I've always argued that You might fight for all the political freedom, or rather for all the major freedoms that you have, that you want. You can fight for all the journalistic rights that you want. But as long as the fundamentals like, freedom of access to information, as long as those fundamentals are not in place, I think it becomes really impossible for journalists to be able to amplify the voice of the citizen, to awaken, as the theme is, the participation of the citizen.
My view is that government has threatened responses from academia, and we feel threatened when we bring issues of accountability. So when you got people, you see, we have a discussion here, people start, pulling back. And this is a very big loss to the country.
We have passed very, very, very good laws in as far as oil is concerned. We have the best laws. What are our challenges? One of the challenges we are facing is limited information. We will still impress this upon government to ensure that it avails as much information to its citizens in as far as this sector is concerned. Because when you limit information, you create suspicion. When you create suspicion, people will think there is something you are hiding. When at times there is nothing you are hiding. I was asked a question here. My honorable minister is here. He also knows that getting information in as far as those PSAs are concerned is not easy. You go through a process, but why create such a kind of environment for your own people?
Before we look at how citizens can really come out and participate in the extractive industry, do they really understand what this extractive industry is? Because I believe we have a role to play as citizens, government and civil society to make it non-technical for the people. Because I get a feeling that if you're not careful as a country, yes, it's a perception, we are going to have the issue of complexities go on forever. This is my understanding. An ordinary Ugandan does not need to go into the technical aspects of the carbon, the H2Os and whatever that the engineers and the so-called experts do. An ordinary Ugandan needs to have answers to a few basic questions. For instance, if mining is taking place in an area, who's operating the mine? How does it impact me?
We have created a team of staff, 12 staff, who are responsible for auditing that sector. We have, of course, been doing financial audits, and we have adequate skill in that area. Now you realize that in the petroleum subsector, new skills were required. So what we have done is to create a multidisciplinary team, a team comprising of financial auditors, we have geologists, and we have also performance auditors. That enables us to carry out both financial audits and also value for money audits. We are currently undertaking a value for money audit on local content. Local content meaning, how do the local people, how does the country benefit in terms of, for example, employment? If I may mention, while carrying out a review of production sharing agreement, one of them, we realized that some companies were importing workers who have skills that we could also provide. Take, for example, nurses. We don't need nurses to be imported from another country. So we did an audit on PSAs, and we disallowed such costs.
We have done quite well for ourselves by ensuring that we put in the appropriate measures to ensure that our oil indeed becomes a blessing and not a curse, as is seen in most African countries. The vision we had for making our oil a blessing was operationalized by ensuring that we passed the Petroleum Revenue Management Act 2011, which is also referred to as the Act 815. This act established two independent bodies, that is the Public Interest and Accountability Committee and the Petroleum Commission, to oversee the operations of the revenue sector, the petroleum sector. Among the mandates of the Public Interest and Accountability Committee, permit me to call it PIAC for short. Among the mandates of the PIAC was to monitor and evaluate the operations of the petroleum sector in line with national priorities. The PIAC was also mandated to provide a platform for citizens to debate the reports of the PIAC. And then also, the PIAC also had the mandate to ensure that governments and other bodies responsible for the petroleum sector were complying with the Act 815.
Ghana doesn't have the right to information bill, and in fact the media and advocacy, civil society rose against the passage of the bill that is currently before Parliament. But Ghana can boast of, I'm not saying that it's all gloomy. I mean, Mona can bear me witness, for about 1 week I've tried to get a copy of the EPA and I've not been able to. Even in the ministries, I couldn't get it. It's not all that gloomy, but then Ghana has made lots of progress in trying to bring out issues like that. For instance, GNPC was supposed to provide us with documents for publication. They didn't provide the documents. We published that they have blatantly refused to provide the document for us. In less than 24 hours, we had the documents. Because when the issue came to the media, the general public, everybody rose against it. And they realized that society is against them. So they provided the documents. So it's the responsibility of the media to make sure that they send the grievances of the people to the government. And then you can only do that when you build some sort of credibility. You make yourself so credible that the general public will think that they can have access to the government, can rely on you for their grievances to be sent to the government.